We are in Kerrville, Texas, a town devastated by those deadly flash floods that have taken more than 100 lives. And while we're hearing many stories of tragedy, we are also hearing amazing stories of survival. I had a chance to speak with a man a little earlier about his own harrowing ordeal. We're joined now by Christian Fell, who hung onto a meter box in order to survive the floodwaters. So grateful that you are here to be able to share your story. So let's back up just a bit. At what point did you wake up and realize there was a problem?
Whenever I heard thunder from the storm outside, and I swung my feet over the edge of the bed, and I realized I was standing in water.
And so then what do you do?
So originally I thought someone broke into the house, so I got up to go see what all the noise was. And as I walked into the living room, I was on the phone with my mom. I was just telling her that there's water all over the floor, and I'm just looking around, and I look to my left, and I see that the wooden deck was just completely torn up, and there's just water just flooding in from the floor. And that's kind of when I realized it was a flood.
So how'd you escape the house?
So I was on the phone with my mom, and then that call dropped, and then I called my dad, and he told me to get in my truck and go to my aunt's house. So that's when I grabbed my keys, and I start making my way through the kitchen to my car, which was parked on the other side of the kitchen. And I can't see outside, and I didn't realize the water level outside was higher than the water level inside. And so when I open the kitchen door, all this water just starts flooding in, and I try to close the door, but it's just too strong to even walk through or to even close the door. So I give up on that, and I start walking back to the bedroom. And by this point, there's so much water in the house that all the furniture is floating, and I'm having to climb over it to get through the doorways and back to the bedroom.
So are you on the second floor?
No, it's all one floor.
All on one floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so you escape through a window?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? You're fully submerged in water?
Well, thankfully, the rest of the house was pretty much acting like a dam, so when I went through the window, I wasn't getting tugged away by the rest of the current. And I started reaching around, and I found the metal conduit that leads to the meter box, and I held on to that, and I looked around the corner, and I saw my truck just floating or tipped over in the patio with the hazard lights flashing. And then I started climbing up the meter box, and that's when I was standing on it.
So the water is gushing all around you as you're holding on to the meter box?
Mm-hmm.
So how long do you end up holding on to it?
About 3 hours.
3 hours. At one point, did you ever think, I may not survive this?
Yeah, whenever I was in the house, I just knew I couldn't swim for several hours, so I knew I needed to get out and hold on to something because there was nothing for me to grab onto inside the house.
And so at what point are you rescued?
It was about around 6 to 7 a.m. when I saw the police officer walking through the street with his flashlight on. And that's kind of when I realized I could climb down, and it was finally safe.
What were you thinking in those moments when you thought you might not survive? Is your life flashing before your eyes? Or
I didn't even think about not surviving. It was just to survive.
And so you get rescued, and what's the first thing you do?
I asked the police officer for his cell phone so I can call my dad, and that's exactly what I did.
And what was that reunion like with your family?
It was really, I finally felt relaxed. I was just glad it was all over with, and just a state of disbelief that actually just happened.
Well, Christian, we are so glad that you are safe. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.